Hello guys! Let's continue with the next part of this fascinating story, retold in fresh new words while keeping every single original event and detail. Gyges, unable to get away, could only say he was ready. Then Candaules, when it was time for bed, led Gyges into his sleeping room, and a moment later the queen came in. She entered and placed her clothes on the chair, and Gyges looked at her. After a while she moved toward the bed, and with her back then turned, he slipped quietly out of the room. However, as he was passing out, she saw him, and immediately understanding what had happened, she did not cry out as her shame urged her to, nor did she even seem to have noticed anything. She planned to get revenge on the husband who had so insulted her. For among the Lydians, and indeed among other peoples generally, it is thought a great shame, even for a man to be seen without clothes. No sound or sign of understanding got away from her at the time. But in the morning, as soon as day came, she hurried to pick from among her servants those she knew to be most loyal to her, and after preparing them for what was to follow, she called Gyges to her. Now, it had often happened before that the queen had wanted to talk with him, and he was used to coming to her when she called. He therefore obeyed the summons, not thinking that she knew anything of what had happened. Then she spoke these words to him. "Make your choice, Gyges, of the two paths that are open to you. Kill Candaules, and in doing so become my lord, and take the Lydian throne, or die right now in his place. This way you will not again, by obeying every order of your master, look upon what is not right for you to see. It must be that either he dies by whose advice this was done, or you who saw me without clothes and so broke our customs." At these words Gyges stood for a while in silent amazement. Recovering after some time, he sincerely begged the queen that she would not force him to such a difficult choice. But finding he begged without success, and that the situation truly forced him to kill or to be killed, he chose life for himself, and replied with this question. "If it must be so and you force me against my will to put my lord to death, come, let me hear how you want me to attack him. Let him be attacked." She answered, "On the very spot where I was by him shown without clothes to you, and let the attack be made when he is asleep." Everything was then made ready for the attack, and when night came, Gyges, seeing that he had no way back and no escape, but must absolutely either kill Candaules or himself be killed, followed his mistress into the sleeping room. She put a dagger in his hand and hid him carefully behind that same door. Then Gyges, when the king had fallen asleep, went secretly into the room and struck him dead. This is how the wife and the kingdom of Candaules passed into the possession of Gyges. A poet from Paros named Archilochus, who lived around the same time, wrote about him in a poem. Gyges was later made sure in his possession of the throne by an answer from the oracle at Delphi. Angry at the murder of their king, the people rushed to take up weapons, but after a time the supporters of Gyges came to an agreement with them. It was decided that if the Delphic oracle said he was king of the Lydians, he should rule. If not, he should give the throne back to the Heraclides. As the oracle was given in his favor, he became king. The priestess, however, added that in the 5th generation from Gyges, payback should come for the Heraclides. This was a prediction which neither the Lydians nor their rulers paid any attention to until it happened. This was the way the Myrmidai removed the Heraclides from power, and themselves took the rule. When Gyges was set on the throne, he sent many valuable gifts to Delphi, as his many silver offerings at the Delphic shrine show. Besides this silver, he gave a huge number of vessels made of gold. Among these, the most worth talking about are the goblets, 6 in number, and weighing altogether a great amount, which stand in the treasury said to be from Corinth, given by him. I call it the Corinthian treasury, though to speak strictly it is the treasury not of all the Corinthian people, but of Cypselus, son of Aetion. Except for Miletus, son of Gordias, king of Phrygia, Gyges was the first of the peoples from other lands whom we know to have sent gifts to Delphi. Miletus gave the royal throne on which he was used to sit and give judgments, an object very well worth seeing. It lies in the same place as the goblets given by Gyges. The people of Delphi call all of the silver and the gold which Gyges gave by the name of the giver Gygian. As soon as Gyges was king, he made an attack on Miletus in Smyrna and took the city of Colophon. Afterwards, however, though he ruled for 38 years, he did not do a single great deed. I shall therefore make no further mention of him, but pass on to his son and the next in line for the kingdom, Ardys. Ardys took Priene and made war upon Miletus. In his time the Cimmerians, forced from their homes by the wandering people of Scythia, entered Asia and captured Sardis, all but the fortress. He ruled for 49 years and was followed by his son Sadyattes, who ruled for 12 years. At his death, his son Alyattes took the throne. This ruler fought a war with the Medes under Successors, the grandson of Deioces, drove the Cimmerians out of Asia, conquered Smyrna, the colony from Colophon, and attacked Clazomenae. From this last fight, he did not come away as he could have wished, but met with a bad defeat. Still, however, in the course of his rule, he did other things very worthy of note, of which I will now go on to give an account. Taking over from his father a war with the people of Miletus, he pressed the attack against the city in the following way. When the harvest was ripe on the ground, he marched his army into the land of Miletus to the sound of pipes and harps and flutes. The buildings that were spread over the country he neither pulled down nor burnt, nor did he even tear away the doors, but left them standing as they were. He cut down, however, and completely destroyed all the trees and all the grain throughout the land, and then returned to his own country. It was useless for his army to stay and surround the place as the Milesians controlled the sea. The reason that he did not destroy their buildings was that the people living there might be tempted to use them as homes from which to go out to plant and work their lands. And so each time that he came into the country he might find something to take. In this way he carried on the war with the Milesians for 11 years. In the course of this he hit them with 2 terrible blows. One in their own country in the area of Limonium, the other in the plain of the Meander River. For 6 of these 11 years, Sadyattes, the son of Ardys who first started the flames of this war, was king of Lydia and made the attacks. Only the 5 following years belonged to the rule of Alyattes, son of Sadyattes, who, as I said before, taking on the war from his father, gave himself to it without stopping. The Milesians throughout the fight received no help at all from any of the Ionians, except those of Gyges, who lent them troops in return for a similar service done for them in earlier times. The Milesians having fought on the side of the Chios people during the whole of the war between them and the people of Erythrae. It was in the 12th year of the war that the following accident happened from the burning of the harvest fields. Hardly had the grain been set on fire by the soldiers when a strong wind carried the flames against the temple of Minerva Assasia, which caught fire and was burnt down to the ground. At the time no one thought anything of it, but afterwards, on the return of the army to Sardis, Alyattes fell ill. His sickness continued, whereupon, either told to do so by some friend, or perhaps himself thinking of the idea, he sent messengers to Delphi to ask the god about his sickness. On their arrival, the priestess declared that no answer should be given them until they had rebuilt the temple of Minerva, burnt by the Lydians at Assasis, in the land of Miletus. This much I know from information given to me by the people of Delphi. The rest of the story the Milesians add. The answer made by the oracle came to the ears of Periander, son of Cypselus, who was a very close friend to Thrasybulus, the ruler of Miletus at that time. He immediately sent a messenger to report the oracle to him so that Thrasybulus, warned early of its meaning, might the better plan his measures to fit the situation. Alyattes, the moment that the words of the oracle were told to him, sent a messenger to Miletus in hopes of arranging a pause in the fighting with Thrasybulus and the Milesians for such a time as was needed to rebuild the temple. The messenger went on his way. But in the meantime, Thrasybulus had been told of everything. And guessing what Alyattes would do, he came up with this clever trick. He had all the grain that was in the city, whether belonging to himself or to private people, brought into the marketplace, and gave an order that the Milesians should hold themselves ready, and when he gave the signal, should, every one of them, start drinking and having a great celebration. Thanks for watching this retelling. If you enjoyed seeing history come alive with new words, be sure to subscribe for more stories from the ancient world. Drop a comment below on what historical era or tale you'd like us to explore and rewrite next.